HCAM hosted a new episode of the Hangout Hour this past Wednesday. Local author Nanette Kenrick was featured on the program.
Now, I want to talk about your work at the Historical Society, but I just can't hold myself back anymore. Secret Letters to My Psychiatrist is one of the best titles of a book that I have heard. And tell me a little bit about how the concept came about and how you came up with that title.
Well, in my sessions to my psychiatrist, I told him stories of events and incidents in my life, and he called me a Scheherazade. Scheherazade was the wife of the Sultan of India, and the Sultan was betrayed by one of his wives, and so he remarried. Every time he remarried, he executed his wife, and he ran out of royal virgins. He finally hit on the vizier's daughter, who was Scheherazade, and she was a well-educated person. She read maps, she spoke languages, and on her wedding night, she started telling him a story, and she told it so well and so exciting and so fascinating, and didn't finish the story. And she said, "I won't finish it till tomorrow night." So we let her live. And this went on for 1,001 nights. And it was supposed to be the originator of Cinderella, Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, and a whole lot of other Arabian Nights stories. And I just modeled myself after Scheherazade. I wrote up all of these escapades that I had talked to my psychiatrist about as a letter, and each letter is a chapter in my book. And it's not about serious illness. It's not about murder or cooking or anything that's a typical book. It's just fun reading. I've had people come to me and say, "I loved your book. I thought it was great. I thought it was very entertaining, and it was wonderful." So I take your chances and buy my book. Some of the stories I talk about are like being unemployed, losing your job, and dealing with that circumstance, a death in the family, different things like that are typical of many people who go to psychiatrists.
Yeah.
And for people who have never been to a psychiatrist, my opening chapter starts with my first session with my psychiatrist and what goes on. And they might be surprised to find out what goes on. It's not what you think.
Yeah.
It's a fun book.
Hopkinton Health Director Shaun McAuliffe also provided an update.
Like we're seeing, the light at the end of the tunnel. I think Omicron is still the dominant strain in town. It's been so since about mid-December, but we're starting to see a drop consistent with the state, a drop in our case counts. And when you start looking at our vaccination rates compared to the amount of illness that we've had in town, there's not much place or much room for Omicron to spread to. So that's giving us a lot of hope. And I credit, the residents of Hopkinton for stepping up, supporting our vaccination clinics. We're we have one of the best vaccination rates in the state. And then when you take a look at the country as a whole, we're up there in that top percentage across the country. So, there's a lot that, we as a department and us as a community should be proud of, because we've stepped up, we've done what we needed to do. And now we're transitioning into a different and interesting phase with both the Department of Public Health and the Department of Education. So they just released some new standards, new guidance today, and we'll see where that goes.
You can view the full program on our YouTube page or website, hcam.tv.